What's up, fearless followers? It's Josh here with your word of the day, Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Paul writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, and with thanksgiving, make your requests known to God, and the peace of God that transcends all human understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." It's this powerful promise of peace in any circumstance that God can put us in a place of peace, in a state of peace, can guard us in peace, even in situations where we don't feel like we should have peace, or we're just surrounded by chaos. And I felt that on Friday this week. I had this moment most of the morning and into the afternoon where I just felt totally overwhelmed about everything. Thoughts racing, work unfinished, new things coming on the horizon, talking about what we're going to do for church in the summer, and just all of these conversations, all of these different aspects of my day were colliding into one moment, and I just felt like I was losing control. And I had this kind of pervasive panic that I just couldn't shake. And I talked with Christy about it, and in the quiet of the afternoon, I took some time to just pray about it, and remember that God has been so faithful in the past, and in that moment, I felt like I could breathe again. But it took some intentionality on my part, and I think that's part of what Paul's talking about. And of course, we'll hear more about that this weekend as we listen to the teaching. But we have a part to play in accessing the peace that God gives us, and that's deciding to come to Him, to turn to Him, to pray to Him, to depend on Him, to remember His faithfulness, to remember what He's done. When we do that, I find every time I just get a little more peace. It shouldn't make sense. It shouldn't be that way, because the circumstances don't necessarily change. Here we are, COVID-19, still looking at the future, still trying to figure out what's going to happen. But I can have peace in knowing that God was faithful yesterday, and He holds tomorrow in the palm of His hand. So that's the thought for today. How are you accessing peace today? How are you looking back to remember that God is faithful? You know, that's what's really interesting about worry. Worry always looks forward. Thankfulness always looks back. Will you look forward in worry about tomorrow? Will you look back in thanks for what God has done, and know that you can trust Him in tomorrow as well? There you go. There's the word. Have a good one. Grace and peace. We'll see you next time.